Morning, everyone. It's the first day of spring. I'm out here on my pasture. It's a little less than half an acre, pretty small. And when I bought this property, I really wanted to kind of rewild it. So I started planting trees and native shrubs. And one reason is to keep the maintenance low. And the other reason is I really like having the wildlife come through. So I have these scrap pallets and some scrap lumber from another project. I was going to throw it together and make a cool little deer feeder. And hopefully that'll keep the deer coming through into late spring and early summer, because I just think they're kind of fun to watch. This project should be pretty simple to put together. So I drew up a little sketch earlier this morning. I'm just going to follow that plan, kind of eyeball it, take measurements as I go. I'm not super strict on what I want to do. My main thing is just to use as many of these pallets as possible. But the first thing we need to do is get them taken apart. This little deck wrecker is really handy. It makes pulling apart pallets pretty quick. I haven't decided if I'm going to pull out all the nails yet, but we'll decide pretty soon. There's a little work involved to get these 2x4s out of these pallets, but it's actually pretty dang fast. And one of the things that's so cool about it is because I got these in kind of a standard size, they're all 44 by 44. It's going to be relatively easy for me to put together this simple project without a lot of cutting. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in a project like this. Now we got a big pile of busted up wood, so let's get it organized by putting the good boards in a pile and the not so good boards in a pile. A lot of these bigger ones are a little damp and they cracked. Well, the good thing is most of the wood on those pallets was in good shape. So other than a few nails, which we can pull while we're building, this should go pretty quick. I'm going to start out by measuring out a couple scrap 2x4s that I had from another project to 6 feet and cutting them. These are going to be the posts for the side of the deer feeder. So while I have them right here, I'm going to lay them all out so that way I know exactly where I want to put the different structural pieces as I'm building it. I have lots of these 2x4s. So instead of doing one layer for the trough area that will hold the feed, I'm going to do a double layer of 2x4s. And I don't think this really follows any like traditional building standards, but that wood is so heavy and I'm going to put so many screws in it, it's just going to withstand everything. I know it'll work. Time to start pulling some nails. Now I have a pile of clean 2x4s so I can start assembling the trough. This layout that I decided to do is kind of on a whim, so I'm just going to try to split these longer ones in half, put it together, kind of form a rectangle, and then see how that looks, and just kind of play it by ear, see how it feels. I decided to conserve some of the 2x4s, so I had to come pull a couple more nails because I'm going to use these 1x2s. I guess they're 1x3s, excuse me, for the sides of the trough, because I don't think the sides need to necessarily have 2x4s, and that'll still give me that little bit thicker diameter. So that's it. That should be the basic design of the trough. Very, very simple. It's about 7 inches deep, 22 wide. So I think that's going to be more than enough. I mean, I'm only going to be putting about 30 to 40 pounds of feed in this, so that should be more than enough, and then we'll build a roof over the top here. Time to start slowly putting this thing together. First thing I'm going to do is throw some of these 44s on the bottom of these posts, and those are going to be kind of like skids that this thing stands up on. going to be a little bit harder getting the trough lined up because it's this kind of heavier structure. Now that I got it in place, it should be okay. I have a few more of those 1x3s I'm going to throw on the bottom of the trough. I was going to do it after I put the trough on, but I think it's going to be a little bit easier to do beforehand. So that should just take me a couple minutes. I guess I was wrong about how easy this would be. Measure a couple more 2x4s at 22. So now I should be able to use the 44 length 2x4s from earlier, and they should just fit right up here. Pull out my little helper right there. Everything should line up. The center of this looks a little cushy, and I don't think it's going to break, but because I'm going to put some weight in there, have one of these other 22s from the cutoffs, I'm just going to stick that right down in the center, screw it in, and put a couple screws in from the bottom, and then that should give it a little extra support when there's some feet in here. As you can see, this is so much more sturdy now. So now all we got to do is figure out a roof. You can see my scrap pile over here. I have some old roofing that I pulled off a buddy's house a couple years ago with him when he was redoing his roof. So I think I'm just going to cut up a couple pieces of that. I might take a measurement first and just see how it'll work. So it's about 14.5 inches, and I think I want to leave a little overhang. So I'll probably go maybe 19 or 20, and then just kind of have it match up in the center. Right, so I'm gonna run this sideways instead, and I'm gonna mark out a little bit wider than the actual feeder. So I can just have a slight overhang on the edges. Nothing too crazy though. Oops. Frame all assembled. It's going to be easier to put the roofing on over where it's supposed to sit, so I'm probably just going to carry it over there right now and put the roof on. It's a little easier once you figure out the easiest way to carry it. Oh, looks cool. Gonna get it in here. Kind of right like that. I think that'll be a good spot. Very basic, but I think once we get the roof on, it'll be really good. This roofing is not really meant to be ran this way, but since we're just kind of building this from scrap and making it work, it's not really going to carry a significant load. It's just to keep most of the rain off of this feed. And I'm just going to make it work the best that I can. Look at that. I think that'll work. Last one. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. As you can see, this scrap deer feeder was pretty easy to assemble, and probably anyone can make something really similar within just a few hours on a Saturday. I'm really excited to see what this brings into my property here. I guess maybe I'll give you an update in a couple weeks after we see how this thing holds together. It seems to be doing fine with the weight. I'm kind of wondering if the skids down here might need a little extra support, but I'm just going to leave it as is and see what happens. Thanks for watching.